Hi, y'all, Liz here, and I've got your Daily Lizard. Today we are talking about Mike Michalowicz's book, Clockwork. And he talks about something in the book that I had never heard of in this way before I read it here. That's unusual. Y'all know how that is, right? You read something, you're like, oh, I've heard that before. But this was unique. And it's something he calls the Q.B.R. And Q.B.R. stands for Queen Bee Role. And the idea of the Queen Bee role is that there is some role in your company, not a person who's fulfilling a role, but something in your company that has to be done every single day to accept, without exception, to extremely high quality and in a somewhat potentially unique way so that when it's done, your company is better than it could be without. It's better than your competition, most likely, and it's definitely better than your company is, without that intense focus on the Q.B.R. All right, so it's a little tricky to figure out because how? Like, how do I know what that is? When I first started reading, I was like, oh, that's easy. Everybody knows, right? Q.B.R. is sales. If you don't sell anything, then you're not going to make any money. Oh, but then I quickly realized that, well, you can sell all you want, but if you don't have anybody to supply what you're selling, then what? Oh, okay. Well, then obviously employees are just like, it's got to be hiring has to be the thing. But if you only hire people that you're just like, okay, it's hiring, I'm just going to hire a bunch of people. Will that get you there? Of course not. You have to hire the right people. Okay. So does that mean it's recruiting? So it's a whole long exercise that he outlines in the book. I'm going to give you the quick version here because I feel like it's super valuable, and definitely you have to read the book to get to the crux of why it is so critical. But I think it's really obvious even without that, right? If you know the main thing that needs to happen in your company, and if everybody is supporting that role and making sure that that happens, much better chance of success. And almost a guarantee of success, right? Maybe not. All right. So let me just explain that the Q.B.R. comes from the idea of the queen bee's role in a beehive. Now, the queen bee's role is to lay eggs. That's it. Doesn't matter who's laying the eggs, but there needs to be a queen bee in that role laying eggs, or the hive will die, period. It will die. Will it die today? No. Will it die tomorrow? No. But will it die? Absolutely. So every single bee puts their first effort into making sure that the queen bee has everything is needed to be able to lay eggs and for them to be the correct environment, etc., so that they will then hatch and turn into other little worker bees. After the queen bee is taken care of, then everybody goes on to their main job, whatever their main job is. All right, so here's the exercise for you in your company to figure out what your Q.B.R. is. What is the thing that needs to happen, that everyone needs to be supporting no matter what, or the company will fail? What is that? So his suggestion is have everybody in the company, or at least every role in the company, write down the top 6 things that they do. And then individually, systematically eliminate them until you get to the one thing that period has to happen. Now, of course, we can all see it already, right? There are going to be some things that they all have to happen. How do you not? So an example that he gives in the book is you have to have someone doing sales. You have to have someone doing marketing so that people know who you are. You have to have someone delivering the service. And then you have to have someone who is invoicing. And then he gives examples how, do you really need to have everybody focused on the invoices? And the example there is, what if you did your job so well that you could actually get people to just pay you in advance? Well, we all probably know at least a couple of companies that do that. So yeah, invoicing, you don't really need to invoice. It might just feel like you need to do it initially because this is the way you've always done it, and you don't know how else you would do it if you didn't have your invoicing thing. So you're going to have to determine, your people are going to have to determine what is the number one critical job. All right. Once you have all of those, and his suggestion is put them all on Post-it notes and just take them and move them around. Nope, not this one. Yes, this one. I'm going to keep. And then when you get down to the one critical Post-it note for every role, take all of those, put them all together, and then have them. So let's say you have 10, then get rid of the first 5. Which are the first 5 that we can figure out how to do this in a different way, in a way that this role will no longer exist in our company. Nobody will do it. We're not going to delegate it. We're not going to give it to anybody else. It's never happening again. So like invoicing, how are we going to eliminate it? Well, that one's gone. And then once you start whittling it down, getting to the one thing that it doesn't really matter who's doing it, but it has to be done, and there's no other way to get it done than for us to do it. It's our core thing that we do, that we're known for, that we stake everything on. His idea is when you get down to those last 2, right? You're having, you get down to those last 2, instead of thinking, okay, which one can I get rid of now? Instead, which one am I going to die on? Which one am I going to stand up for no matter what? This is the thing that every single person in our company needs to be putting their first effort in and then going on to their second role. Love this exercise. So, of course, my daily action for today is figure out your Q.B.R. Use this exercise to figure out what is the one thing that everyone needs to be focusing on. All right, that's it for today.